All right, so we are just getting started here today, going live with Sherri Dumbrell. So I'll just give it 1 second or so to get people to get on and watch, because I know how Facebook goes and notifies everybody. Oh, there we go. Oh, so I should turn my volume off so that you can't hear it. There we go. Okay. It's been a while since I've gone live in an interview. So welcome everyone who is watching here live. I'm so excited to be having Sherri Dumbrell here. She's a certified spending planner. So before we get into what a spending planner is, I just want to introduce her. So she is American. She was born in Vegas and then grew up in San Diego, California, and then went abroad to start working in England, where she met her husband, Greg. And now she resides in Brisbane. She's been married for 32 years and has been living there the rest of this time, right? So that's basically your new home.
Yeah.
Oh, new,
yeah. I've been here longer than I've been in my home country.
Yeah. So she's basically Australian at this point.
I am.
So yeah. And so if you're here watching, just to give, I'm gonna have an interview with Sherri, but we'd love some interaction. Hi, Karen. Love some interaction. This is your opportunity to ask Sherri all your money questions. And money is a subject that a lot of us don't like to talk about in public. You know, we keep that to ourselves. And what Sherri's got here, I think, is an incredible way of dealing with money. And so I'm just going to tip it off to her first. So a spending plan. First of all, what is a certified spending planner and why do we need it? Or actually, what is
it? Before I answer that question, what I always say to anybody that I talk to is, if you have money issues, it is not your fault. And because you don't know what you don't know. And, you know, I don't know about other countries, but definitely in Australia, and I know in America, you're not taught about money. And all of a sudden you leave school and you get a full-time job and you're supposed to be great with money. And a lot of people aren't, just because they just don't know. So that's what I number one am, is I'm a financial literacy. I teach financial literacy for what you should have been taught in school. And I'm sorry, but yes, so that's what I do. And so then I'm a certified spending planner. And what that is that's a new industry in the finance industry. Many of you have heard of financial planners, which up until mid 1980s, there weren't even financial planners. But you know what a financial planner is. You go there when you have excess money and you want to ready to invest. And then there's the total opposite side, which is the financial counselors, which is where you go when you are really struggling with money and even close to bankruptcy. And so then there was that whole gap in the middle, which is where most people live. And that was that whole center, which is most people where they may be living paycheck to paycheck. They may have savings or may not, or have a little bit of savings, but generally it's a lot of people. And so that's who I educate and help people who want to eventually maybe get to a financial planner, or just to do better with their personal finances with a better system than what's been offered to us up to this point.
Great. Well, I mean, it's such an important thing, and I'm glad that, I mean, it's amazing that you've been doing this all this time. I mean, so you've been doing this for, you said, like almost 30 years.
Well, I've been really, when I first got married, in fact, are you hearing beeps?
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn my sound off.
Hi, ladies. Hi, Allison.
So when I got married, I wasn't the greatest. I used to spend every dollar I got when I was single. And then I married my husband, and he had the notebook, and he would get paid. He would go and get cash out of the bank and put them in the envelope systems. And I'm thinking, oh, whoa, you know. And so we were actually kind of saving for different things. This is for electricity. This is for that. And but then we had our first child, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. We have 5 children. My youngest is almost 20 now. And so I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I knew I had to be a bit more conscious about money. And so I did that, and I had a traditional budget for 15 years of our marriage. And it worked okay. I'm talking okay. Because there's a lot of guessing, and it's possible when it works, when you're dealing with a budget. And so when my oldest was 12 and my youngest was 2, we wanted to go back to the States because that's where my family's from. And we wanted to go as a family. So we saved our money, and we went and had a wonderful time. And I thought there has to be a better way to manage your money than a traditional budget. So that's when I went in search, and I found he's a school teacher in northern Queensland. And he basically was feeling the same. And so he created the system for himself. And then eventually he now certifies spending planners to teach other people. And the reason why there's a certified spending planner, and I go through the certifying process, is because it is out of the box kind of thinking than budgeting. Budgeting focuses a lot on the here and the now and a lot on the past, where a spending plan focuses 100% on the future, because that's where your money success is. And so, yes, the first 15 years of our life, we did okay. But yeah, sometimes we didn't have enough for our bills because the calculations weren't right. And then since then, the last 19 years, yeah, we paid off our home in 15 years, and we have total financial peace. I don't stress about money at all. And I only started my business 4 years ago. Up until then, for 27 years, we were a 1-income family. And, I mean, he just made a moderate wage. And I went home multiple times in that time, usually with me and my youngest child. So yeah, so it has been dramatically changed, our financial life. And so now that's what I do, is I want to just help other people realize they don't have to put up with broken budgeting, that there is a better system to use that is foolproof, and it's no more guessing, or that it's just possible.
Wow. Okay. So before we even go there, we have someone tuning in from Germany. Wow.
Oh,
Sharon,
lovely.
it's really early in Germany. I think it's 5 or 4, 5 or 4 or 5, I think. But my goodness, good
Early
morning.
risers.
Yeah. Good morning to her. But secondly, because you touched on something, how, you had a budget, because you needed to, but you found once you started with this spending planning as opposed to budgeting, you suddenly were able to, you were able to now have peace of mind because you're paying off all your debt a lot quicker. You have a lot more money. What's the difference? How are you able to with that versus a budget?
Okay. So a budget is 2-dimensional. It has income and expenses, and it focuses a lot on income. If you look at any budgeting thing, it says, what's your income? And then you start subtracting all your expenses until you get to 0. And then it's saying, yeah, you should be able to pay your bills. You make $80,000 a year, your expenses come to 75. Yep, you should pay your bills. But the thing is the dimension that's missing that a spending plan has is that third dimension of timing. It's the timing of your income and expenses throughout the year that will say whether you're going to have the money when that bill's due, ready or not to be paid. Yes, you're making 80,000, but what if a lot of those bills are in the first part of the year? You haven't made your money yet. And so timing isn't factored in when it comes to budgeting. And usually with budgeting, people do a lot of installments. They give their money away to their service providers before it's actually due, like insurance, they'll pay monthly, or electricity, they pay monthly. Or with a spending plan, we have you keep your money, and so that you benefit from having and leverage off your own money rather than giving it away, because they're just going to invest it and make more money off of you. And so it's all about timing. That's the third missing dimension, is timing, the timing of your income and expenses. So with the spending plan, you can know, and you'll see your future bank statements or your future bank balances of all your different bank accounts 12 months before it even happens. So you'll see that what you used to have those big months, if you see that there's a short, you see that long before then it happens. I talk about driving up a hill at night in a 4-wheel drive. And if there's a big pothole ahead, you're not going to see it because it's too dark. But if there was a flashing light, has a light saying, hey, pothole, detour to the left, then you're going to miss that. And that's the same as a spending plan. A spending plan lets you see in the future when you're going to be short so that you can adjust it now so that that actually doesn't happen. So that's why I have zero financial stress, because I can see in the future. And so I'm making plans now for anything that's coming up. I plan for all 6 types of expenses, which I teach, which include, replacements of things that we buy. It includes your emergency money, your big bad wolf expenses, things that go wrong, emergencies. You have to have money for that, where a lot of people just put their head in the sand and just think, nope, I'm just going to be ignorant and then I'm going to be a victim when that happens. For me, it's all about knowing your money truth and being honest with what money's coming in, and plan every cent that's going out in the future so that you get what you really want. That's what we don't work just to pay for bills. We work so we can get what we really want. And that's what I help people do with this system.
I love it. I mean, you touched on something, with not having the financial stress. And as you were talking about how you are foreseeing what's going to happen in the future, like a lot of this, I can relate to, a lot of what my clients have to deal with their health and wellness, to be honest, because, with a budget, like you said, it's so like, 2-dimensional. Here it is. Here's what your expenses are. Here's what your income is. But there's always surprises that pop up. And then it blows everything out the water. Then you just forget about whatever your plan was, because it just messes up everything. And it's so similar to what people do with regards to food, for example, or exercise. As soon as we go on vacation, they throw everything out the window. And it just made me think of how similar it is. But all it takes is a little pre-planning about what you can do. And then you're set up, and then you don't stress. You go on vacation, you have a vacation routine. We set up a vacation routine. So this is like what you're doing. You're already looking into the future. And I love that.
Yeah. And we just 2 years ago, before COVID hit, before the world changed, my 5 children, there was 4 grandchildren at that point. We all went and surprised my mom for her 80th in the US. She had no idea. We all just showed up, and I did a "This is your life" kind of presentation evening. We all had spending plans, and we planned for the unexpected, because my husband and I went a few weeks before all my children came. We traveled. We go to pick up the rental car. Was it what they quoted? No, it was more. And all those unexpected things, even when you're going on holiday. But we planned for that. And all of us came home with excess money because we planned for our fun and our costs, but we also had that extra spending just in case. And so that's what you need. Is my favorite account. I teach effective bank structure. That's the first thing I teach, because you have to have that foundation of where you're keeping your money. And my favorite account is the Big Bad Wolf account. And that is, and I use the 3 big bad wolf analogy, but that's to protect you when he comes to visit. Now, it's not if he will come, it's when he will come, and he will come. So we have to protect that, because that also acts as an insurance account, savings account for your savings. Because if you're planning on going on holiday and you're going to go and buy that ticket for the cruise end of August, and then all of a sudden a few weeks before your car totally blows up and you have to spend a couple $1,000 on your car, you have 2 choices. Am I going to use my savings, which would be the best option? Or a lot of people just go into debt. They put it on their credit. They say, nope, I'm going on that holiday. Where if you had a Big Bad Wolf account with at least $2,000 in, is what I recommend, you have money there for those unexpected things to ensure you get to do what you are saving for. So you never have to use your savings as a, I hope nothing happens so I can get on that trip kind of account.
We needed that last 2 months ago when I was in the States, and we were going on a trip where we were driving to Sedona, which is a good 9-hour drive. I can't remember now. And we just did a quick checkup with my dad's car right before. Guess what? We had to replace, I forgot what part it was now, but it was $3,000.
Yeah.
And we nearly choked on it, but we had to.
Yeah.
And it went straight onto a credit card, of course, like you said, because what do you do? And then we, and it was sorted out afterwards. But my gosh, that is, and otherwise we would have been like, oh, we've got that cushion over there. Like, that's nice to have that little bit of security, isn't it?
Yeah. And the big bad wolf too is for the essentials. It's for that. You needed that card. If you get in a car accident and it's your fault, then you have excess in your insurance first before they start paying theirs. You need your car because you need to go to work to, it's not for those cute pair of shoes or that nice watch that you see. That is not, that account is sacred and it is only reserved for those real little emergencies. And then of course, I always talk about another actually emergency account. That's for, as renamed, a COVID account. That's when you might lose your job or have some really serious illness that you can't bring in income, that you have money there for at least 3 to 6 months, 3 months if you're an employee, to pay your basic expenses, and 6 months in reserve if you own your own business, which isn't usually as secure, so that you don't have to rely on government if those big emergencies come. It just gives you a whole I teach total, complete financial peace of mind.
So what do you say to people who say to you, wow, that's too complicated, I can't do that?
I say to them, no, a budget is complicated. A budget is very complicated. A spending plan is very simple. The spending plan asks you, how much is the bill in the future? How often are you going to pay that? So electricity, it's say 500, it's every 3 months. And when's the next time that's due? Okay, it's due next month. You put that into the software and you do that with all your bills, all your expenses, and it does all the calculating for you. So it's all based on, this is when you want the money. And it does it so that when that bill comes, your spending plan says, hey, you have an electricity bill coming up because the money's here sitting for it. Where usually it's the opposite with, where it's like, oh, the bill came. Oh, where am I going to find the money? Because that's the budget is, you're doing a lot of calculating. Personally, I've not used a calculator since I started my spending plan 19 years ago. The software is amazing, which is only $10 a month. It is the best $10 we've ever spent a month. So there is vast differences. It's so much simpler. The software is simple because it's not carrying the past. It's all about the future, planning your future and showing you what you can achieve. Because money to me is fun. When I did a budget, it was stressful and brought me anxiety. But now I just love celebrating money because I get what I want and have the total confidence that all my bills are totally automated. I don't pay my bills. I just tell people to take my money because I know with my spending plan, the money's going to be there. So yeah.
And I've had a quick glance at Sherri's program because I was helping Karen and we were going through it. And so I got a little snapshot of it and it's really amazing. And she's absolutely right. And I'm going to link it again to something that I do, food planner. Like people are super resistant to any sort of planning because they think they're just, first of all, we have a roadblock because we don't really know what it is until we get there. And everyone is always blown away when, like with the food plan, once they do it, they're like, oh my God, it's like a one-shot deal. On the front side, yes, there's some planning to be done. And then after that, it makes life so much easier. And that's what I see for the spending plan. You have to confront yourself and you have to look at how much are you really spending? And a lot of people don't want to see that, right? And I think that is also some people's resistance, just the food plan. They don't want to, they want to see it. But right, once you do it, there's nothing more satisfying because when I was a kid, I was way better with money when I was younger. And I had a simple version of what you're doing, right? Put money away. And then when I was making pennies, suddenly I had $10,000 and I went, wow, in the, early 90s, like how, just because they put a little bit away at a time. And So yeah, I think I love
Yeah.
this idea. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And with the, I love that with food too, because I used to be, a carbaholic, a sugaraholic. And I remember when I was younger, you'd go out on a Friday night and you would blow it. And so then my mindset was, hey, I've blown it Friday night. I might as well keep blowing it for the weekend, until I learned that no, I didn't have to, that I didn't have to beat myself up, that I had an ice cream last night, just the next morning, just go and get back on it again. And that's how it is with the spending plan. Usually after Christmas, people go, or after something, they'll go, oh, I don't want to talk to Sherri because I, maybe overspent. And I just say, that's the past. I do not deal with the past. Let's quickly look in the past. And I use driving. When you're driving to the mountain, you're looking at the windscreen. That's your plan. That's where you're going. You have your rear view mirror. That's quickly to look in the past. But if you continue to look in the past, then you're going to crash and you're not going to get to your destination. And so that's the rear view mirror is what I consider a budget. It's there quickly to see where you spent your money in the past, very quickly. And you do that quickly within seconds. And then you focus on the future. And the thing is with the spending plan, when you put everything in, because a budget is a lot of guessing and it's just saying you're possible, that brings, to me, that's not certainty. So that's going to bring anxiety. Yet a spending plan shows you the 100% truth and your 100% money truth, then you don't have to stress. And so I've had ones that when they finally see their plan, it's like, oh my gosh, they had so much anxiety. One lady almost was crying because she was having an anxiety attack. And then we put all the stuff in and she was just on cloud 9. So we tend to carry a lot of anxiety and stress around on our money. When you see it in the spending plan, 9 times out of 10 is better than you think. And you've been carrying that, which of course affects your health, affects your eating, because, hey, if I don't have money, I might as well just go and eat some more ice cream or whatever. And so it's amazing what financial peace does to all areas of your life.
Absolutely. And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to have Sherri on today. Why in a healthy lifestyle group would we have a financial person on here? Well, it is a huge pillar in overall well-being. There are things like career, finances, relationships. These are things that we don't normally think of as part of wellness, but they are, because they play a part in the whole picture of our overall well-being. So you're right. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like with finances, it plays a part in your food that you eat, because that's another thing that's really interesting. People will go and spend, I don't know, $100. They'll go out for drinks, right? And they'll spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but they won't spend, on good quality produce, even $5 for, some vegetables. So it's interesting. But if that's a priority, and if you could put it into your spending plan, then Sherri's program like spits it all out, and then you can see where you can kind of move your money around without, because I always used to find myself mindlessly spending at like a CVS, or Target. That's like my biggest challenge, to go to Target and you start buying everything around because you think you need it.
Yeah. And I think, you hear mindset a lot, money mindset, just mindset about lots of things. And I've come to realize that truth changes mindset faster than anything. And so because the spending plan shows you your money truth and shows you exactly where you are currently and shows you where you can be in the future, and the actual day you can have your debt paid off, the actual day you can have money for your deposit of your home or for that next holiday, that motivates you. That's what makes it exciting. And you don't have that desire to just waste money here and here. I had one, she was a spendaholic. I mean, literally a spendaholic, went shopping every day. And when after one session of putting some of her information in, it basically cured her. She was like, she didn't have the desire. And it's not restricting like a budget. You think restricting, it's a spending plan. It says, let's just consciously think where you want to spend your money. Don't just go in the wind and just whatever comes. and then complain because you don't get what you really want. Let's put it in your plan. If you want to do this every month, then you put it in there. And because you're saving for it, it calculates how much you need to, save to get that. Yeah, you become a happy spender. That's my Facebook group, is Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting, because I take you beyond budgeting by adding in that third element of timing of your money, and we become happy spenders. I love to spend. I didn't always. I was raised by a dad who was a penny pincher, and every time you spent, you felt guilty that you spent money. Where now I plan for it. I plan my spending. I save my spending, and then I happily spend. And so I've become a lot more generous as well, where before to pay for someone else's meal was just not what we did. But now, hey, I can do that because I have planned and saved for things.
Yeah, because I love that. You're right. And because we all have a financial story, right? Everyone has a story with money. And it's amazing how, as we get, well, some of us do, some of us never do,
Yeah.
How it comes to life. And especially when you marry somebody, because, right, they have a completely different view than you. And that's why I love this spending plan. And that's why I signed up to do this with Sherri, because my husband and I on our own, we're way better individually than we are together with our spending. And it's not too late. Look, I just turned 50 and I'm still, because I assume I'm going to have another more 50 years to go. So I need to make sure that I have money for that. So,
exactly.
And that my husband and I are on the same page. Yeah.
And it's never too late. Sorry. I have people who are in retirement that they now are on, this is their set amount. And yeah, I have people who, it doesn't matter what your income is. If you have an income, then you need a spending plan. And this is a fun thing that I do. It's called Money Habitudes. So it's a card game that is a great starter for especially when I'm talking with someone and couples, to see which areas are your strengths or your weaknesses. But it's interesting. I was doing it, and guess what? One of the sections was planning and another one was security. Guess what? As I'm taking the quiz, I'm thinking, wow, I'm acing this. And then I got to the end when it printed me a report and realized, okay, there's advantages and challenges for any of those areas. And so I've learned that I know what my weaknesses are. But I realized that even my strengths, sometimes I need to be a bit more carefree, which is another area, or a bit more giving. And so it's being more balanced in all the different habitudes, which is your money habit, spending habits, and your money attitude towards spending. That's what a money habit is. So yeah, there's lots of fun little tools that I do to help us understand why we do what we do. But again, the truth, and seeing it in black and white in front of you on the screen, it ends all arguments with your spouse, because if you both align yourself with truth, which is the spending plan, and I have had a lovely message from a young couple who had a lot of consumer debt, and we got that wiped out in about 4 months. And I teach to have a financial intimacy date every week. Make it a positive thing. Get your favorite drink or a favorite dessert, so that it's not, because you're to talk about money, and to look over your plan and to monitor it. And she goes, yeah, we did it. We've saved money. We have savings for the first time. We just bought some snacks, went to the park, and talked about our finances. So it becomes a positive thing with you and your spouse or partner, as opposed to what could be a very stressful topic. And a lot of marriages don't survive because of it. So I've brought couples back because of it, because truth will always conquer. And money is truth, in the sense 1 + 1 will always
Sherri,
be 2.
or is it me? I see him frozen here. So, I'm frozen too.
You're frozen. Am I frozen?
What is going
You're frozen, but it's a lovely frozen. You're smiling. Well, if you're still seeing me, so yes, she's logging out and logging back in. And so yeah, money is fun. It does not have to be stressful. And yeah, a spending plan definitely has brought, that was the best thing I did 19 years ago, was stop budgeting. And since then, our family has gotten the things that we actually want because we make a plan for it and it happens. So hopefully she's coming back. And let me just check. No. So if it's still going live, so I'll just tell you a little bit more. So the 6 areas are planning, status, carefree, spontaneous, security, and giving. And what it does is there's 3 cards in there. One says, that's me. The other one says, that's not me. And the other says, sometimes it depends. So there's about 10 cards in each of those areas. It has questions and it says, it tells a situation and you say whether that's you or not. And then at the end, you'll see which ones are your dominant habitudes and which ones might be your moderate ones and which ones are your low ones. But it also then talks about the differences that what you might think is a strength, you have to be careful because it could become a weakness as well. For example, planning. If you plan to do something, say you have a busy day and you're wanting to go out all day, you have a time schedule, and then something happens and you're getting all stressed because you can't do that, but you end up in a place at the right time to maybe help someone out. And so that's why being 100% great planner isn't always the best thing, because then you don't have that spontaneity to be where you need to be. And hi, I've just been talking. I don't know if it's been going, but I've been just chatting with them.
Thank you. Well, that's the internet here in the Philippines. So
yes,
I'm glad you stayed on though.
So yeah, so what I think I was saying when I finished was, yeah, I make it fun. Adults, money becomes fun again. I teach you about a financial intimacy date that you have regularly, that you have your favorite drink or food, so that it becomes a positive conversation where usually for many, it's not even talked about because it brings up too much discord. But when you know your money truth and the spending plan shows you it, and you both align yourself to the spending plan, then you naturally align yourself with each other. And you have, and share your goals and your dreams, you know, because they all cost money.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love this whole concept, which is why I joined. And if you look in, I did post about Sherri's upcoming program. And already a few people have signed up. I'm in. It's 8 weeks and starts next the 6th.
Wednesday.
Right?
Yep.
Wednesday.
The 6th. Yep. So I have a day class. I'm in Brisbane. I have a noon class, and then there's an evening class. So you can choose whichever and with timing. So if you're in, I think like even the US, the noon one will be like 8 o'clock at night or whatever. So I try and do it so that whatever suits you best. But yeah, we have about 8 already in the class, and yeah, it's going to be really good. And the thing is there is no shame, there is no judgment when it comes to money, because again, no matter what your situation is, it's not your fault, or any situation that you have, good on you. And it's not just for people who struggle with money or want to be, it's just for those who want to better organize their money. Even the bank account structure is financially life-changing, and just wanting to better achieve their goals in the future. It's perfect to ensure 100% that those things happen.
I love
And
that. And there's
easily.
so many inclusions with, I mean, it's such a great deal. I mean, there's so many inclusions. It's 8 weeks. Sherri really sits down and goes, you have includes the software, includes weekly workshops, right? And there's a couple personal coaching sessions too, right?
Yeah, so
and
basically
then,
the software, the first month, well, it's $1 for the first month, and then after that it's $10. The software is paid to someone else, but there's no contracts on that. And then there's just my services. And yeah, so you get the 8 group sessions, and then you'll get 2 one-on-one individual coaching sessions with me, so that I can look at your plan specifically. And again, a spending plan is a plan. I don't look at your bank accounts. That's what we're doing, is we're creating your perfect spending year in this spending plan. Then we mirror it in your actual bank accounts, but I never have access to that, and I don't want access. And then I also will give you some feedback reviews, go and look at your plan and give you some video reviews on your plan of how you can change it. Plus, you'll be able to play the money habitudes game and see what your strengths and weaknesses are. And yeah, a lot of other stuff. I do have an online course that you get access to. So you'll have access to that, which will have training videos. And basically, I'm teaching what's in there. So that's a good backup. And even if you can't make all the sessions, you will, upon request, be able to get a recording of that. So that, because I know life gets busy. And so, yeah, it's great value. And yeah, I teach you to become financially self-reliant. I teach you the skills. And then once you have it, you'll be fine the rest of your life. And you'll be more educated and money smart than most people that you know. Just because I teach you the truth. Yeah, again, the truth will always conquer, and you can't, there's no arguing with money truth. 1 + 1 is 2. And yeah, so it's very exciting. And so too, 2022 is coming up. You'll definitely be ready for that. Not that we redo a spending plan every year. A spending plan is always live. You're always seen a year in advance. You enter in the information basically once, like I did 19 years ago, and then you just tweak it when you need to, as your lifestyle changes. But other than that, it just keeps showing you forward 12 months. And so for me, it takes me as little as 10 minutes to do my finances when my pay comes in, because I've already put in that time of planning it, of where I want it to go. Basically, I'm just going into saying, did I do it? Did it go there? So it's very easy. And no more record keeping. We don't have to record keep and keep record of everything we spent. No, we just have an account that you give yourself money. That's for your food, fuel, fun and incidentals. And once it's gone, once it's zero, you just stop spending. Very simple. Who cares how you spent it, as long as you don't, So yeah, it's really easy to follow and fun.
Perfect. Well, if anyone who's interested, if this has piqued your interest, Sherri's in the group, you can private message her, but I've also put all the information about an upcoming course. When you go to her website, she does have a free talk too, if you're interested in a little bit more, but you can reach out to Sherri, right? I guess through DM is probably the best way. Yep.
That's fine.
And
DM's great.
Yeah. So, well, God, it's been such a pleasure to have you on here. I don't know if anyone has any more questions, but it's been great to talk about finances, something that is very taboo, and it is a part of overall well-being, everyone. So take advantage of this opportunity. I don't think it'll be, her package will be at this price very long. It's quite a spectacular deal. And so yeah, so again, thanks for being here, Sherri. Really great to have you.
You're welcome. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. So we will see you guys later. And in the next couple weeks, I will have some additional speakers. One, we're going to be talking about essential oils and the power of essential oils. And then we're going to have someone talking about mental health. Some exciting talks coming up in the future. So stay tuned on this page. All right.